at the beginning of your attorney general, I don't remember which year you became, 7 or 6?
I was deputy attorney general.
Yes.
And having the time of my life. Because deputy attorney general, in my time, I don't know about now, I mean, I'm not with respect to, it was for my time, the deputy attorney general was not a difficult position. Because you see, when you look at the constitution and the laws and so on, there are some opinions and so on, the attorney general must sign. So you deputy attorney general, you're not even like, I think a deputy attorney general is a little lower than a deputy minister in other places with respect to the deputy attorney general, because lower in the sense that the attorney general you can't act for the attorney general in a lot of situations, in my time at least. And so I was having the time of my life as a deputy attorney general, learning the ropes in parliament. Then I was called by the chief of staff, Kojo Penny, to come to Castle. Somebody had met me, a senior member of the party, a few days before. I said, young man, you're doing well, you know what we should be doing? I said, what? He said, oh, we must take you to another ministry, like as a deputy, you've done the law and order, so we should take you from there, take you to infrastructure, or social service, or take you to either finance or trade. And we have to be moving the young men around so that by the time we come to power, or by the time if you come to power, we'll have some experienced young men like you. So, I mean, I thought that I heard that going to be a reshuffle. I thought they were going to move me to another ministry. Well, I mean, then they called me into Castle.
Kojo Penny said you should come and see.
Yes. And Kojo Penny and my bigger brother went to Prempeh College.
Okay.
So I had a wonderful relationship. He called me his nephew, he'd take me out of his will. And he was a nice guy. He would come to a minister's office, he's chief of staff, but you'd be sitting in your office at night, and he'd come there to have a chat with you.
I see.
And he would tell you that, hey, watch yourself, president, not happy, that kind of thing. So he called me, I went to his office. When he called me, I must tell the truth. He said, why are you? I said, I'm in the office. It wasn't true, I wasn't in the office. So he said, come to Castle just now. I said, let me tell you the truth. I've left the office. He said, hey, my nephew, why don't you tell me the truth? So I was a little late. I get to Castle, 6 o'clock in the news, they announced it. By the time they announced it, I had gotten out of my car to Kojo Penny's office. When I got to Kojo Penny's office, Dr. Kuffour was then at Adom-Otchere. They said we should go upstairs. So we went upstairs, and there was a door by the reception. Kuffour was on a need-to-nail basis, President Kuffour, sorry. I mean, if you're a deputy, you're a deputy. Not knowing that door led to the cabinet room. I didn't even know. That door, serious, I didn't know. So they took us into that room, and Kojo Penny said, you've got to get used to this place. And so, what is this man?
So you hadn't heard the announcement?
I hadn't heard. I think he assumed that I had.
Okay.
So I said, what is this man talking about? And I got a call. Those days, they allowed you to hold your phones. And somebody said, listen, they made you Minister for Energy. When you go inside, they will ask you, don't say anything. You know what I'm saying? Minister for Energy. So as Adom-Otchere goes inside, now when you go inside, the people, when they go inside, they don't come back to where we are. You know what I'm saying?
So you don't get to ask them what happened.
Chief Paul. So that man go inside. So I was the last person. So when I went inside, President was there, Vice President, Mrs. Chinwense, the National Security, some people were there, about 7 of them. The President said, we've decided to make you the Attorney General. I nearly laughed. Oh, I had to put my hand to my mouth. I would have laughed. I said, Mama, this man, is there something wrong with him? How can you make Ghartey the Attorney General? I'm too young, you should wait, because my thinking that the Attorney General is, Paul, maybe 70 crap, with beard,
Joe Randolph.
I mean, yes, I mean, those were, we used to worship them, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you go to court and hear that Joe Randolph is arguing with, I mean, the only person who was a little young in that group was Akufo-Addo, the president. Joe Randolph, Darucha, Peter Lajete. We go and listen. You know what I'm saying? You are trying to listen. Then they say, write something, Then they're making me Attorney General. They sit down, all the Akufo-Addo goes out. I thought this is a joke or etc. I put my hand to my mouth. Then he started talking. Paul, should I tell you the truth?
Yes.
I couldn't hear what he was saying.
Oh, really?
No. Just as I was thinking. I said, and I knew it was responsibility, I mean, you have to take decisions on people's lives, decide whether you are going to prosecute or not. You take the decision. The Constitution says that there shall be an Attorney General. All prosecution shall be done in his name. You see, you are the chief legal advisor to government, civil. But when it comes to prosecution, the decision is yours. So I took those decisions myself.
To prosecute the drug people?
Oh, Paul. The president told me that I should prosecute. If it means prosecuting him, I should do it. So I was doing it.
You mean prosecuting who? He, the president?
Yes, that's what President Kuffour told me.
That go ahead.
I said, Charlie, I shouldn't stop at anything.
But that's an era that we need some documents on. So what actually happened? MV Benjamin's story broke. All the media were on it. I was calling you, everybody was calling you. And then you set up the Georgina Wood Committee.
I set up a Georgina Wood Committee. When I set up the Georgina Wood Committee, went to cabinet, and I was criticized to hell.
By your colleagues?
Yes, because somebody had told my colleagues that I should have rather set up a presidential commission for inquiry. So, I mean, President Kuffour had a habit of listening. He listened and asked me my view, and I said, listen, I thought that if you set up a presidential commission of inquiry, you cannot prosecute.
Which is what happened. The court gave that ruling.
This is what happened in the Ghana 50
case.
Because I said to them that when you set up a commission of inquiry, the constitution itself shows the punishment. So you can't
use that testimony then to go ahead.
You can't prosecute. That's why I set up a committee. And the people were saying that they are not compelled to come. I mean, there was all these arguments.
Which is kind of true. They were not compelled to come. Some people didn't. Tagore was. He
was there.
Eventually he did, but he wasn't willing to come.
Yes, but I mean, I remember after that meeting, Akuma Deborah, may his soul rest in peace, Minister of Agric, he looked at me and said, there was a young man who used to come to my brother at medical school. When my brother was a houseman, there was a very small boy who used to come there. His name was Ghartey. Do you know? I said, that is me. He nearly collapsed. so they started looking after me. I was the youngest for a long time. They said, until Joe Benassa came. They started looking after me as if I was their son or something.
Yeah.
So the drug came. And the drug came for a very simple reason. At that time, America had become stricter in terms of people entering America. So these drug barons would move ships, load off the coast of Ghana, or West Coast, and they will enter into West Africa. Listen, they are doing a business, and they are looking at the risk per country. So when I became Attorney General, I noticed immediately that one of the things that used to happen was that they will arrest them, and they will go and get bail, and they will leave the country. And there were professional people at the court who were organizing the bail for them. It was a whole racket. So I made it a non-bailable offense.
I remember that.
Now it's a bailable offense.
Yeah, the Bar Association argued with you.
Oh, everybody.
Yeah, the lawyers argued with you. There is nothing called non-bailable. Yeah, that is against human rights.
Well, Paul, I'm a human rights activist. But a man has to do what he has to do. And at that time, if we had not been careful, drugs would have taken over this country. I mean, listen, that kind of money, they are narco states. The kind of money that these people were dealing with, if we hadn't done what we had to do, there'll always be crime in a country. But you can't be awash with crime. So I was faced as Attorney General with that, with corruption, and with judgment debts. So, judgment debts, we were doing the CP case in London, you know what I'm saying. I remember we went there once, these white boys they bought their lawyer, they bought a young guy. The young guy, there are two things I remember. The young guy was sitting by me, and as I was talking, he was nudging me and said, the panel was there, they could see this young boy. So I after a short while, I told people, I want a short break. I went out, I said, when I was speaking, I said, how many years have you practiced? He said, 5 years. You know how many years I've practiced? When I stand up to speak, if you have anything, tell me, write it down. Don't sit by me. Sit 2 away from me. I'm sitting for the panel. You want to tell the panel I don't know anything.
Is this the white lawyers you had hired?
White lawyers we had hired.
Oh,
and then
okay.
I called this boss and said, if the boss doesn't come the next time, we are hiring new lawyers. The next time the boss was there, the boy didn't come again. The second thing I remember taught me a big lesson. We had a client, a witness, I won't mention his name, a star witness who was come to lead evidence. So he came to lead evidence, how there was corruption and so on and so forth. Then the lawyer on the other side came and said, are you a financial analyst? I said, yeah. He said, but you've just done some 3-week program at university, some polytechnic in London. So yeah, went and showed him that he's not a financial analyst. Hey, this was our main witness.
I see.
Then the guy had a CV. So have you done this? Have you done that? Have you done this? This was our main witness. Oh, our main witness took a bottle of water. The top was on it. Poured it into a glass. That showed his confusion. As if he was pouring water. Drank it as if he was drinking water and put it down. And everybody was looking at him. Then
Are you serious?
100% serious. Then one of the people on the arbitration panel said, well, Attorney General, I think you need to take a break. I said, my lord, you couldn't have given me better advice. We'll take a break. They're wet.
Why, was the witness lying about his credentials?
He had been so shaken. This was a guy in Ghana who was throwing his weight around. You know, this person has taken bribes, this person was throwing his weight around. And here we were, and he was a witness, you see? And he was star witness, one of our star witnesses. We got another witness who had, but he was so confused. We assumed he was an expert. He had been engaged, I think, by the World Bank or one of these people, according to him, throwing his weight around everywhere.
And he let you down so badly.
So you learn. You never stop learning until one of the first rules that you learn always is that be sure of your witness. Now, when I came, because the guy was working in Ministry of Finance as a consultant, I assumed that it was too much. So those are two things. I remember another one, Lord something.
But when you left power and in 2009, some of those who had been convicted by the FB Benjamin trial were released on appeal, Tagore especially. The Court of Appeal granted him a release.
Well, Paul, I wasn't Attorney General at that time. And for me, these matters, they are not personal. So I didn't go, why did it? If I was Attorney General at that time, maybe I could answer the question. I met Tagore on a flight. We had a chat. Alhaji Sir, I knew him before. You know, I knew Alhaji Sir. Alhaji Sir, I was representing a client who signed an agreement with Alhaji Sir. I knew him very well. But your job is your job. I mean, my brother, I have a bigger brother who was charged when I was Attorney General. I mean, not a serious matter. He came to me, I said, well, you have two options. Look for a good lawyer, or go 4 a.m., go to the person's house. So the person comes out, hold his leg and beg him. And he said he hadn't done it. I said, hey, look for a good lawyer. He said, I should recommend a good lawyer. I said, I don't recommend lawyers to people. So you go to town and look for a good lawyer. Well, he was very close to my wife. So my wife passed behind my back and got him a lawyer. He won his case.
He did.
But he won when I was not Attorney General. Thanks be to God.
Okay.